Today we have got an absolute banger of a video. Please stay to the very end, you will not regret it, I promise you. A couple days ago, an account by the name of c.osman2988 left a comment on my Zakaya video talking about two pieces of cut content that were cut from the original Modern Warfare 2. I genuinely have never heard of the content that was cut and had asked them questions about it. They explained in detail what the content was about, but I want to keep it of a somewhat surprise if any of you haven't seen it before, so I'm not going to show the comment because he goes really in depth on what was cut. I simply left a comment back talking about how cool that would have been to see, and they had actually asked if I liked that they would send me the links to the videos of the cut content. Obviously, I said yes, but had asked for their consent to make this video as I didn't just want to steal their idea. They then swapped to what I'm assuming is their main account, which is called soapydopey_tf, and it said they planned on making the video themselves, but either wouldn't find the time or would never get around to uploading it. So a massive shout out to c.osman2988 and soapydopey_tf. Please go show them some love. We are building easily one of the best communities on Call of Duty on this very channel, so please give them some love for the idea. Also shout out to Hacking is Freedom and Jerry Alt for the footage of the cut content you're about to see. I will also leave the links to the videos themselves and everyone's channel in the description if you want to go check them out, please do. But with that being said, let's get into the video. So as I said before, today we're diving into cut content from Modern Warfare 2 2009 and exploring how it might have completely changed the story as we know. The first piece of cut content isn't as flashy as the next, but it could have added enormous depth to the story. As we know, in the mission Contingency, we follow Captain Price as he sneaks through Russian territory, infiltrates a submarine, and makes the shocking decision to launch a nuclear missile. In the final version of the game, Roach, the character we play as, is mostly along for the raid. He provides support, follows orders, doesn't really have much of a say in what happens inside the submarine, and just kinda watches alongside everybody else. But cut dialogue, theories, and actual developmental gameplay suggest that this wasn't always the plan. In an alternative version of Contingency, Roach was supposed to play a much more active role. Instead of hanging back, he would have followed Price directly into the submarine, supporting him as he secured the launch codes and helped trigger the missile launch.
So, we've reached the sub! Roger that!
This version of the mission would have given Roach way more character, transforming him from a silent partner into an active participant in one of the most controversial moments in the entire campaign. Think about Roach's thoughts, his hesitation, or even you, your younger self, questioning if what you're about to do is the right thing, and even Roach's loyalty to Captain Price as he makes the call to launch a nuke. It would have added layers to his character and made the bond between him and Price that much stronger. And here's where it gets really interesting, because if Roach had been more involved, it would have made his eventual betrayal by Shepard even more devastating, because instead of just being another operative, Roach would have been a key player in Price's desperate plan. Shepard killing him wouldn't just feel like wiping out an expendable soldier, it would be the silencing of someone who carried the weight of Price's choices. The next piece of cut content is easily one of the most fascinating pieces of cut content ever, the alternate Rust ending. In the official version of the game, after the mission endgame, we face Shepard in a brutal cinematic showdown. It's intense, it's personal, but it's also tightly scripted. However, unused files and early development assets suggest that Infinity Ward once planned something very different. Instead of being a short linear chase with Soap being injured, watching Price and Shepard brawl before removing the knife and killing Shepard, the final confrontation would have taken place inside Rust itself, the now famous multiplayer map. Players would have been able to fully explore the entire map while trying to hunt down Shepard, almost like a twisted 1v1 boss fight. Data miners uncovered lines of dialogue that supported this version of the mission. There were taunts from Shepard, commands from Price, and atmosphere building lines that hinted at a much larger encounter. Many of these lines weren't voiced by the official voice actors, instead placeholders were used, suggesting that this version of the ending never made it past early testing. Here is the clip cut down a bit with the dialogue included so you can actually see what the ending would have been like.
But what they had planned here seems very, very interesting.
So you're still alive. Shit. Doesn't matter. Mission's over. The mission's accomplished. We started the wars in Russia, McTavish. Patriots like myself. We supported Zakhaev until he got too ambitious, that is. You can't always win a war with a bullet. You of all people should understand that. They can't sustain the war stateside anymore. They're weaker than ever before and they know it. Of course, there's a briefcase on its way to the Kremlin. The truth in there is only going to seal the deal. Tell the Russians the truth, and the war goes on. Hell, they'll have every reason to. Thousands more will die. They might even go nuclear. You tell the world about me, and...
It is up for debate, however, as to who you played as during the mission. Shepard directly refers to you as Price and refers to McTavish as an obvious third party, meaning that this version actually had you playing as Price, but again this could have changed during development. This also would have changed the Modern Warfare trilogy as we know it, because the only mission that we get to play as Price is Dust to Dust, the final mission in Modern Warfare 3. So if this version of Endgame had made it in, we would have actually got to play as Price much earlier. Imagine the difference. Instead of a cinematic where you mostly watch the events unfold, the game could have ended with a desperate sandbox style showdown, you and Shepard locked in one final duel with the Rust map as your battleground. Had this made it into the final game, the emotional impact of Shepard's betrayal might have hit way harder. Players would have felt like they earned the ending by tracking him down, not just watching it unfold. And the Rust map itself could have become even more legendary, not just for the multiplayer chaos, but as the site of one of Call of Duty's most dramatic finales. Now let's step back and think about how these two pieces of cut content could have reshaped the entire campaign. First, the Rust ending. If players had faced Shepard in an open sandbox style fight, the sense of betrayal would have become even more personal. It wouldn't have been just a cinematic twist, it would be your mission to hunt him down and finish it off. That kind of agency makes betrayal sting so much more. This would have also directly impacted the beginning of Modern Warfare 3, as that game opens directly after the duel with Shepard, with Soap being brutally injured as we know. Had this ending become official, the beginning of Modern Warfare 3 would have obviously been very different, since Soap would have been completely fine and not injured. Then with Roach, giving him more of a voice, more of a role in Price's plans, means his death becomes heavier, instead of just being remembered simply as the guy who died with Ghost, as some players remember him as. Roach would have been cemented as a true partner to Price, someone whose story ended not just in tragedy, but betrayal at the highest level. He also would have been the only other person directly involved in the nuclear strike, even though Price warns Shepard that he is going to do it and ignores Shepard's orders not to. It was still on Price's own accord and completely his own decision, as is evident by Ghost's reaction to the launch.
Price, are you there? The silo doors are opening on the sub. I repeat, the silo doors are opening on the sub. Price, come in. They're opening the silo doors on the sub. Come on, hurry! Price, do you copy? The silo doors are open. I repeat, the silo doors are open. Wait, Price, no! Missile launch! Missile in the air! Missile in the air! Code black! Code black!
Had this alternate ending to that mission taken place, we would have had two people directly involved in the nuclear strike, and this would have given so much more depth to Roach's character. Together, these changes could have shifted the emotional balance of the game. Shepard's betrayal might have felt less like a plot twist and more like the inevitable breaking of point of trust. Roach's death would have carried much more weight, and the legacy of Modern Warfare 2 story, already iconic, might have reached an entirely new level. So why didn't we get these versions? The truth is, game development is extremely messy. Things get cut all the time for pacing, budget, or simply they just don't fit the flow of the story. The Rust ending, while exciting, may have slowed the finale down too much or taken resources away from polishing the rest of the campaign. And as for Roach's involvement in the submarine, it's possible that Infinity Ward felt it distracted from Price's character moment. Price launching the nuke is one of the most defining scenes in the entire series. Maybe the developers wanted to keep the spotlight on him and not split it between two characters. And then there's always just the practical side, recording extra lines, animating more sequences, programming alternate paths. All that takes time, and with deadlocks looming, some ideas just don't survive. Cut content will always fascinate fans, because it gives us a glimpse into what might have been. For Modern Warfare 2, the alternate Rust ending and Roach's expanded role in contingency could have reshaped the entire campaign into something even more personal, more devastating, and maybe even more legendary. But what do you think? Would you have preferred these alternate versions, or do you think Infinity Ward made the right call by keeping things streamlined? Let me know in the comments, and if you want, I'll dig deeper into even more cut content from across the Call of Duty series. You'd be surprised how many missions, storylines, endings, weapons never made it into the game. Thank you once again for all the support recently. It has been absolutely insane from hitting 1k. I feel like we're definitely building something special here on this channel. I read and reply to everyone's comments, and the amount of love that I've been getting recently is heartwarming to say the least. I love each and every single one of you, and this channel wouldn't be possible without each and every single one of you as well. Once again, thank you to C.Osman2988 and SoapyDopey_TF for the idea and permission for me to make the video, and shout out to Hacking Is Freedom for the Modern Warfare 2 ending footage, and Jerry Alt for the contingency ending. All the channels and videos are linked down below if you want to go give them a watch for yourself. But that's it for me today, folks. I'll catch you in the next one.